this is a historic election for women in that the number of women running for Congress has broken a record, and the number of women now who have made it into the general elections is 143 women running for both the House and the Senate. Again, the majority of those women are Democrat, but we have more Republican women running for Congress than we ever have before. The Republican women didn't fare as well in the primaries, actually, as the Democratic women did, but nonetheless, the ultimate numbers show that there are more Republican women who are actually running for Congress than they ever have before. There are also more Democratic women running for Congress. The part of the challenge is that a lot of women who are running again are incumbents who are in tight races. And so some of the women who we would think would be secure in their seats aren't necessarily. So it's a little hard to tell what the outcome will be. While there are record numbers of women running, it's not clear that we'll break a record when we're done in terms of the number of women who are sitting in Congress. Well, conservative women in politics are getting a lot of play. Sarah Palin, I think, started it 2 years ago when she ran for vice president, but I think in this particular election, because of the successes of some of the Tea Party candidates, a fair portion of whom are women, it's really helped get conservative women in the news. What you're actually seeing is a bit of a media effect. So the women candidates who are running, there's a whole spectrum of them. And I should add that this is actually a record year for women running for Congress anyway, although still the majority of women running are Democrats. But nonetheless, you get very high-profile candidacies from women who are more conservative than I think people would expect women to be. Let's start with California, since we're in California. And there are two very high-profile races. One, the Fiorina Boxer Senate race, because Boxer is a longtime senator and she has a lot of power within the Senate. And she's being challenged by a, quote, political outsider, someone who's never held political office, who's also a woman, and who is conservative, not only economically conservative, but socially conservative. And I mean by that is she's opposed to legal abortion, for example. And it's a very tight race, something that Boxer probably did not anticipate. And so that's very high profile. It's not completely clear what the outcome of that election will be. Turning to the gubernatorial election, you have someone who's clearly a political insider for many years, Jerry Brown running for governor again, and Meg Whitman, also someone who's never held political office, who's running against him. She's more economically conservative, I think, on social issues. She's probably similar to Jerry Brown on a lot of things, but again, very high profile. While Brown is up in the polls, he's not up by a lot. Right now, it's clearly not a decided race. And if you look at the polling numbers, while women tend to vote Democrat more so than Republican in California, among women voters, they're actually tied for Brown and Whitman. So she's got actually a little bit of an edge among women voters in California. So those are the California races. There are obviously other races, the high-profile ones being the one in Nevada, because the Senate Majority Leader, Reid, who's been, again, also a member of Congress for a long time, is being challenged in an incredibly tight race by someone who's been supported by the Tea Party, Sharron, and that's getting a lot of publicity. And so that's another one. One that's high profile, but I think only because it has some sensational interest, is the Delaware Senate race. I mean, it's important in a lot of ways, obviously. I shouldn't say that it's only because it's sensational, but because a longtime Republican was ousted in the primaries by a relative political newcomer, Christine O'Donnell, again, supported by the Tea Party. And so it will be interesting to see how she fares. She's down in the polls. She's down in the polls right now, so I don't think she will win, but it's become a rather interesting race to watch.